What I do is I help people transform. It's not really about change, because change is just when you rearrange your life. I'm not here to change your life. If you want to change your life, I'm the wrong person for you. Because imagine if you have furniture in your house and you rearranged it, now you've changed some things, but you still fundamentally have the same pattern. You still fundamentally have the same furniture. So I don't just rearrange your life. I really help you transform it. When I would work with my women clients, the theme that constantly came up during our coaching sessions, more than anything, and some of these women clients were incredibly successful businesswomen, entrepreneurs as well. The theme that constantly kept coming up with my women clients was a theme of relationship and men. Relationship and men. Over and over and over and over again. So I had the opportunity to work with hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of women, assisting them in understanding themselves on a human level, but assisting them in understanding their relationship, understanding men, decoding men, demystifying the opposite sex, but also assisting them in deciphering and navigating the whole terrain of relating with a guy and relationship. And this theme kept coming up over and over again. I kept hearing things like, he says he's really committed to me, he says he really loves me, but why is he not committing? You know, he says he really wants to be with me, but you know, and he was really into me in the beginning, and he just disappeared. I don't understand. You know, and I kept hearing women, these amazing women, say things like, I'm tired of giving everything and everything and everything I've got to a man. I thought he was the right guy, but I don't know what happened after like 3 months. I thought this was the one this time. And I kept hearing things over and over again. Things like, I'm tired of giving everything I've got, and feeling like I don't receive anything back. So I kept hearing these questions and these complaints and these concerns, and over time started to really assist women in working through their own internal blocks around relationship, their own wound, their own pains, their blocks around relationship, and really assisting them in understanding men in a whole different way from a man's perspective, being a man myself. And something started happening over the years, and I didn't think anything of it. But over the years, this theme kept coming up. And I would constantly be hearing women say, Kute, thank you. You totally transformed my understanding of men. Kute, thank you. You completely saved my life. Because I was going down a route in relationship with a guy, it was going to be 2-3 years of hell, and I couldn't see it until you opened my eyes to understanding how a man's mind really works, and understanding myself, and understanding why I keep attracting this kind of man. And I kept receiving emails from my clients thanking me and expressing appreciation. And over time, women began asking me, why don't you share this information with other women? I'll bring 10 girlfriends to hear you speak. I'll bring, 5 of my friends to a class if you put a class together. So that was one part. The other part was, I have some of the most amazing women friends in my life. Some of the most incredible women friends who often, when they're in a relationship with a guy, they come to me. So what started happening was a lot of my women friends would come to me completely frazzled or in pain, not understanding what was going on with these guys they were dating, these guys that were amazing guys, but my women friends would be confused because things weren't working out. They weren't being fully met. The guys weren't committing. They couldn't understand certain patterns that they were doing in a relationship. What started happening was my women friends would come to me and say, Kute, you need to create a seminar for women. A seminar for women to understand men at a whole nother level. You need to create they just kept asking me. And to be quite frank, I resisted it. I wasn't that interested in creating a seminar for women. I'm already busy coaching one-on-one and speaking, going into companies and corporations, taking people on transformational travel journeys to India and Bali. I barely have enough time doing that. But it kept happening. women kept asking, my clients kept asking me, my friends kept asking me, and every time I'd sit down with a woman, there would usually be an aha that would happen, and more women would ask me. And I thought, maybe there's something to this thing. You know, women keep asking. So finally, I decided to give it a test. I wasn't really committed to it yet, so I sent out a questionnaire. And I asked 50 women if they'd be willing to answer some questions about relationship, about love, about men. And before I knew it, I had like close to 100 women sending me emails asking to do the questionnaire. I had women sending the questionnaire to 10, 15 of their friends without my permission, saying, you got to check out this questionnaire is fascinating. I had women emailing me and saying, "Coop, you just let me know the date when you create a seminar and I'll bring all of my girlfriends." And I started noticing this reaction, and I was like, whoa, this is more than anything the reaction to this is more than anything I've ever had for anything I've ever created. And I've created some really cool things that got my attention. Finally, but I was still resisting. I thought, wow, this is going to take a lot of work, and this is, wow, I'm not a relationship guru. I'm not a relationship specialist. I'm a transformational specialist. That's what I am. But women kept asking. Finally, I decided to do a test. And I decided to invite 5 women to my living room so that I could pick their brains and ask them certain questions about what they wanted in a man. And after that night, based on what happened in that night, without any great planning, no great agenda, no script, just me and 5 women hanging out, asking questions, what unfolded during that night, the questions that came up, the sincerity of the women, the breakthroughs that were able to happen for some of these women around their understanding and relationship with men, I was so humbled. I was deeply touched, I was profoundly humbled, and I was profoundly moved by the heart of these women, the sincerity of these women, the genuine desire of women to understand themselves, to open to love and be more love, to understand men, to love men, to be in relationship and attract the love that they deserve. And it was after that night that something shifted for me. I knew I had to create this seminar. It was no longer a choice. It was no longer a conscious choice for me. Literally, it was in that night I felt the soul of women call me. I felt the soul of women reach out and call me. It was like a spiritual thing, and make a request to me. It was hard to explain. I just felt the soul of women call me and say, we want this. So if anything, I'm not creating this seminar because I have all the answers about relationship. If anything, I'm creating this seminar because I felt the call, and I'm simply saying yes to the call.